So, thank you for coming to meet with me in Chambers today. As you know, I have recently started a virtual reality playlist on my YouTube channel. It's kind of exciting to finally get to a point where I can interview somebody one-on-one. I want to introduce everyone to a friend and colleague of mine, barrister Jerry Lee. Jerry and I are participating in the 2024 New South Wales Bar Mentoring Program, supported by the consultancy, The Art of Mentoring. So we're currently in the phase of the getting to know each other part of the mentoring program. I have shared with Jerry the Bar News article where I was interviewed as advocate for change. And I decided that one way of my getting to know Jerry would be to interview him. So Jerry, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, perhaps as a start, I was a solicitor prior to coming to the bar for about almost 3 years. I was admitted in 2020. I graduated from Sydney University with a combined degree in Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Science. I worked at Moring and Agnew as a graduate solicitor and then as a solicitor before going to Inter Ellison for a short time and then going to the bar.
So in your science qualification, was there a major or focus area in that qualification?
I majored in mathematics, so I would say that math was the focus of the course, but I did a variety of sciences, including chemistry, some molecular biology, and some environmental sciences.
And have you found any of that useful or relevant to things you've been involved with at the bar so far?
Generally, yes, because of the way that scientific reports are analysed in those science degrees. I think the carryover skills to analysing expert evidence in all fields in the bar is quite relevant.
Okay. And Jerry, do you have a Chinese name or do you only have an English first name?
Yeah, I have a Chinese name, which I put as my middle name.
Yeah.
Yunqi.
Okay. And what do the characters in your Chinese name mean?
I understand Yunqi comes from a poem, and it means rising cloud, but I forget the terms of the poem.
That's really interesting because in my family there's also a poem, and so the first character in my Chinese name Lee is a character in the poem, and there's a different character for every generation in my family. Now, where in China do your family originally come from?
From Henan province.
Okay, and which part of China is that in, and do you know what Henan province is known for?
It's central China. I think it's around the Yellow River, possibly slightly to the north of the Yellow River. I don't know what it's particularly known for. I think there are some Shaolin temples there. Okay. It might be known for that.
And is there a dialect that they speak in that region of China or that part of China?
Yes, there is. But don't ask me to emulate it because I cannot.
Well, do you know what the dialect is called?
I think it's just called by its region. Maybe I don't know dialect. I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. So it's not like Cantonese or Hokkien.
No, it's not that different, I think.
Okay, but it's possibly they've got their own local dialect in that part of China. So are there any interesting, you've told us about the poem and your name, are there any interesting family stories that you wish to share?
Interesting family stories. Not really. I mean, I suppose my mum has a PhD from Sydney University, so I think it was nice that I could graduate from the same university as her.
Okay, and what was her PhD in?
In engineering.
Okay, And what do you think about cricket, Jerry?
I saw this come up in the preamble questions that I was provided with, and I thought it's quite funny because I enjoyed playing cricket in high school with my friends, but watching it can be quite a chore. So it's very different in terms of watching it versus playing it.
When you say watching it, there's different forms of cricket now.
Yes.
Do you think that applies to all the different forms of cricket, or?
For me, it does, because I have seen 2020 cricket and I have seen like one days or Ashes series, but all of those were not very interesting in my opinion.
So you're more maybe of a player than a watcher.
Not that I'm any good, but playing was more enjoyable.
Okay. And do you have a favourite judge?
I can't say I'm very familiar with any of the judges.
Okay.
So I would say whichever judge is in my next matter.
I think that's a very good answer. Do you know who the four heavenly kings of Cantopop are?
No, because I'm not familiar with Cantonese culture, and I speak Mandarin.
Okay. Do you have a favourite Chinese drama star?
Drama star? No, because I can't really name any of them. But I think there were like 2 Chinese drama series that I've watched.
Okay.
Or maybe 3. One of them was Xiaoji. Another one is Sanguo Yan Yi. And Shanghai Bang.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are there any lawyers who have influenced your career so far?
I'm not sure about lawyers, but during university I worked for a senior counsel barrister, and I'd say he influenced my career heavily. I don't think I would be at the bar without his influence and mentoring, really, and very appreciative for that relationship.
Okay, fantastic. And how have you found practice as a barrister in Sydney so far?
Busy at times very busy, but it generally very enjoyable, I'd say.
Did you have any expectations prior to starting at the bar? And how's it perhaps matched up or not matched up to those expectations? So.
I did have some concerns, maybe not so much expectations, but some concerns about workflow, about how much I might be engaged and things like that. I must say I was very wrong about how busy I would be, or how difficult it would be to get exposure in a way, because obviously that's a concern for every practitioner joining the bar. You just never know whether you'll be briefed or not. But in terms of expectations, not really. I just hoped that I would be in control of my own practice, which I generally found to be true.
Okay, and if there was one thing that you could have changed about your reading year, what would that be?
I'm not sure that I would have changed too much, because I think every step, even every mistake, was a great learning experience. So from that perspective, I'm happy to have taken the steps that I did take, and I don't think I would change it.
Right. Why did you decide to come to the bar?
I think I decided in university when I was exposed to what it was like to be a barrister. Well, albeit it's very different being a senior counsel as to being a junior, but I kind of got a feel for what barristers do day to day, and it was always an aspect of the law that I was more interested in, being more in control of the advocacy and where a case would be argued and what direction the strategy would go. I found that always to be more attractive than the kind of almost shoeboxed legal practice at a large law firm.
Okay. So, what are your plans for your practice at the bar now that you've completed your reading year?
I'm trying to expand my practice areas into some different areas that I haven't had a chance to work in.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts or insights to share about technology and the practice of law in years to come?
I can just say that I really appreciate how digital briefs are being sent. So now, if you're sent a brief that might be missing some contents, or a brief that you think is kind of difficult to take around with you because of its size, you can always access it online. You can always request documents to be sent to you online very quickly, and I think that's been a great aid.
Okay, great. What's your favourite Chinese restaurant?
Tough one, but maybe in light of some of the more recent allegations against it, I shouldn't say, but I do like Din Tai Fung.
Okay.
And the food was great. I thought I'm not aware of like a huge amount of names of Chinese restaurants, because I go to them but I don't recall their names, and I know they're good.
But you're a dumplings fan? Is that what
there's
attracts
also
you to
Dumpling
Din Tai
King.
Fung? Yeah.
Sorry, so maybe it's not clearly Din Tai Fung, but there's also Dumpling King in is it Burwood?
Okay.
But yeah, I think it might be in Burwood. It's also very good.
Okay, so with Din Tai Fung, is there a particular one that comes to mind when you say Din Tai Fung?
World Square Din Tai Fung.
Fantastic.